this in the beginning for the show when it's actually aired because you didn't put the headphones on. Boom. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Nightmare 365 podcast. I'm Matt, alongside my brother G. What's going on, G?
What's up, man?
Today we are talking about another case file 17. The Simpsons predict the future. But before we jump into that, I just want to say thanks for tuning in. I want to give out some shout outs to a couple people reviewed on our iTunes. So if you're listening to this podcast, go over to the iTunes and just leave us a review. I'll actually pull them up later and give them recognition because they wrote some nice reviews. I don't know if you've seen them.
Yeah, I saw.
But that was pretty cool. So I think it was a Scary Horror Fan and Gollum, if I'm pronouncing that right, on iTunes. So thank you very much. So if you're listening, go check that out on iTunes and give us a review. Also, check out our Patreon page. If you want to support the show any way possible, do that. That would help us out. But before we get into the case file today, G, let's talk about some weird news. So we have some weird news for you. And I don't know if you have been following this story. It's about the missile warning that went over Hawaii. Hawaii, what was it? The 13th, January 13th. Basically, residents received emergency alerts warning them about a ballistic missile threat early in the morning of January 13th, which was a false alarm. A lot of people have been reporting on this, and a cool video that I watched was from Secure Team 10. And he put out a video because he's been following this story for a while since it first originally broke. And then some new reports that came out was NBC. If you watch it, NBC was the crew, a news crew, was spotted inside a bunker before the missile alert happened, just hours before the actual missile alert went out. A lot of people were reporting that they had something to do with this, basically saying they wanted to break a story. And they were there, like, kind of doing some research, and they were like, let's just do this. Because a lot of people were saying that if you scroll down, that you can't just hit this button automatically, or, it's not just like some weird button. But then also what the Washington Post was reporting was if you do this drop-down menu on the computer, you could basically hit false alarm, as you could see here that we're showing on the YouTube channel. So it was interesting. And then also this surfaced too. This is a YouTube video, which I don't know. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but if you type in Hawaii tourist says that they saw something blow up in the sky. So there's a report that a group of, 20 people, including tour guides and just some people, obviously, that live in the area, saw something in the sky get blown up right before this missile alert went out.
Has lived in Maui for 8 years. And so what she is finding out is that a group of boaters that actually run a tour company say now that they saw something get blown out of the sky. So they said it looked like a meteor, and then all of a sudden it was a big boom, and it lit up the entire sky, and it was 8 o'clock in the morning. So I don't know what to make of that.
So what do you make of that? I mean, you have this news report. Obviously, I saw like this whole thing from Secure Team 10, and then I followed up and I did some digging of my own. Obviously, I found this from the Washington Post, where they basically explained it wasn't as easy as people said. Just hit the the button, and then it sends out this alert.
I don't buy it.
You don't buy any of this? So you don't buy that maybe, they did see something and to like cover it up? So you don't think like maybe aliens were over the sky or there was another missile test? So you just think this was a total fuck up?
Yeah.
All right. I just thought it was interesting and just what people have been reporting. And it just gives another reason why so many people don't believe, what the news tells us, the government.
Fake news,
all this stuff. You just don't buy it.
No, I don't.
All right. So that was that report. I'll link it up in the show notes for sure. This report was from actually July of 2017. Scientists can't explain these coins from ancient Egypt. And if you look at these coins, they look like aliens. Alien is on the front, looks like your typical gray, and then on the back, it looks like a ship of some sort with seashell on it.
Yeah.
It just goes into these coins were found, and this was from sciencevibe.com that we found this article. So that was just a unique piece. If people want to check that out, I'm not going to really go into it because I really don't know. I didn't dig too much into the story.
Mm-hmm.
So that was just another one. And our good friends at the BFRO, you know them. Greg didn't know who the BFRO was.
Do not know who they are even to this day.
It's the Bigfoot Field Research Organization. So I guess there was another sighting of report number 50341, and it was reported that there was another Bigfoot sighting in a national park. So that was just interesting. I thought,
He's seen it many times, though.
He has. So
yeah.
How does that always happen?
Yeah, I see it many times. It's really dark. I can't get a picture.
Yeah, this was in Illinois, in Union County. Actually, it was on the breaking news thing, which I don't know why, because the story was from 2015. But I thought it was interesting. He goes, I guess his pit bull
probably
was
saw
barking.
it again.
Yeah, and then when he went to check on him, he saw the big creature about 20 yards away, flat face, reddish brown fur, eyes looked orange in the light.
Yeah, okay.
He disappeared into the woods, and I've seen him many times. I lived in the surrounding area and then also in the national forest. So that was a cool thing. And then from MUFON, this comes from MUFON. So this was from actually January 18th, 2018. I guess in Tennessee, they witnessed a UFO. And you can look it up on the MUFON website, case file 82433. So it actually happened almost a year ago, but it was actually, I guess, just released. I don't know. But looking into it, there's plenty of cases, which I always like reading that. I don't know if you ever go on their website and check it out.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
From the MUFON website. So that's our weird news for today. I guess you don't buy in any of it. You don't buy in the UFO, Bigfoot,
Nope.
Or the missile.
No.
None of it.
No, man.
All right.
More people would have seen a missile than just one tour group.
Well, people on the beach. I don't know. What about the whole NBC thing? How do you explain that? They were in the bunker trying to get a news story, and then all of a sudden this happens.
Sure, yeah, why not?
Do you think any coincidence in there?
Maybe they pressed some wrong buttons. Who knows?
Yeah, see, that was my thing. So I don't know. That was it, man. So let's just jump right into it. All right, so today we're talking about The Simpsons predicting the future. So I have a bunch of reports that I pulled up that I want to share with you and check it out. So I have from BuzzFeed, 21 times The Simpsons predicted the future. This one was from CNN. Actually, The Simpsons, predict the future. They talk about a little bit of it. And then we have, this is from NME.com. I didn't really look into that. I just pulled it up because they had some cool articles. And this was from Time.com. 14 times The Simpsons predicted the future. So there's tons of videos on it. I think this theory more is an internet theory, a YouTube theory, than anything else. One of the big things too. All right, so we can go by theory.
Okay.
If you want. I don't know how you want to do this. It's also one of the things that I really want to talk about. We could start with this one because this one was a big thing and kind of said over and over again, which, where was it? Let's see. President Trump. All right. So you probably saw the videos that it was a big thing where you see Trump walking down the escalator.
Yeah.
You see him at the podium. Let me pull that up. Let me see if I can find some pictures for you.
No, the first one.
No, it wasn't on there. It just said it. Predict the future. So those pictures aren't actually from like an episode. People get confused, and that's where like the internet kind of throws that stuff out there. I mean, I'll just type it in, for people to see, but for Google. But I don't know. Explain your theories, man. You're quiet today. Why are you so quiet, bro?
I get yelled at before the show.
What do you mean you get yelled at by your wife?
No, you.
By the Annie?
No, you.
Well, you're always late.
Here's my theory. They have over how many episodes? 600, 700 episodes?
Well, let's just look at their Simpsons Wikipedia page. So the Simpsons was created by Matt Groening, and it's been number of episodes, 629 episodes, 29 seasons.
Yeah, there you go. So you're going to get some things right if like you have an imagination.
True, and there's a lot of writers. I mean, obviously Conan O'Brien was a writer. Look at all like some of the famous people that you know that were writers at the time.
And like,
yeah, so it originally aired on December 17th, 1989, and it's still going strong, man. 29th season.
Like you look at like Back to the Future, they predicted the Cubs were going to win the World Series.
They were a year off.
They were a year off.
That's pretty cool.
Like,
well, some of them are pretty interesting, and obviously a lot of it has to do with technology.
sure.
Like if you look at the technology, and obviously people talk about the Lady Gaga one.
That's not technology.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like, people talk about that one. With technology, you want to get in technology. All right, here we go. Here's a good one. In 2008, Homer's voting machine changed his vote. And I guess there was reports, too. That was from season 20, episode 4, Treehouse of Horror.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a Halloween episode where he goes and he tries to vote for Obama. And then it keeps going, you vote for John McCain. And he goes, no, I want Obama. And then he hits it again. It's like, 2 votes for John McCain. And I guess they had that same issue here. So we can click the full article and see exactly where it was, which I thought this website was pretty cool. So I guess voting machines in Pennsylvania were removed after they were, clicking a different candidate.
I've seen that before, too.
And there's actually videos on that, too. So if you want to see that. So that's from, I guess, TechCrunch.com. You could look up that, and it's watch voting machines change Obama votes to Romney votes. And that was from November 6, 2012. Yeah, so that was one way. All right, so Simpsons had this on an episode. Obviously, different candidates. It was, Obama and McCain on the episode, and then it was Mitt Romney and Obama there. So
I think that's just a coincidence.
That's 4 years apart.
Okay.
All right, so we can get into that one. That one's kind of cool. This one, whatever. This one is kind of interesting just because our food's messed up. So in 1999,
you could have saw that one coming, though.
The Simpsons had this episode in season 11, episode 5, about where this mutant tomatoes, the radiation ones. I do remember that. Tomako.
Yeah, I remember that one.
And then I guess there was reports in Japan where a nuclear power plant blew up. And had these weird-looking tomatoes and fruit and all this different stuff. So that was an interesting one. How about this one? In 1995, an entire lemon tree was stolen. That was from season 6, episode 24, The Lemon of Troy. And then actually in 2003, so a long time afterwards.
Yeah.
8 years, a lemon tree was actually stolen.
I know, but come on, you could find anybody stealing trees.
All right, here's about to my point with technology. So you have technology here. In 1995, Lisa's future fiance could verbally communicate with his watch. In 1995, episode 19 from season 6, Lisa's wedding. And then now in 2013, we have
the smartwatches.
Smartwatches. What do you think of that?
I mean, that one's...
Well, Dick Tracy did it, right?
Yeah.
He was talking to his
Toy
watch.
Story did it.
Toy Story did it. So I kind of agree with you. The more you look into this, it doesn't... The one that really got me...
Yeah.
Let's see if I can find it. See, some of these are just... I don't know. Yeah, some of this you can kind of predict.
Yeah.
Like the whole Trump thing, where that happened was... I'll try to find the exact episode that came from, where Lisa was actually sitting in the White House. So it wasn't actually you saw Trump at the podium.
No,
and stuff.
she was the next president after
she was
Trump.
the next president after Trump. And then she's like, well, President Trump basically screwed up the budget. So that's where that came from. So what do you think of that?
Well, when was that episode from, though?
I'll look it
Because,
up.
he was, big,
True. So here's another technology thing. In 1994, Apple product that wasn't really out yet, but in episode 8, season 6, Lisa on Ice,
See, that's pretty cool.
where they basically have an Apple product. You see it here, right? It's
Yeah.
Apple with a worm out of it, and it's basically auto-correcting. He writes exactly what he wants to say, but it auto-corrects to something different.
Yeah.
And basically that happens all the time now. And in 2011 also, which I thought BuzzFeed did a great job on this because they actually show you the episode. They give you the season episode, and then they also give you a follow-up article about it.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. This one, it was kind of eerie. I saw that. In 1991, Ringo Starr took him decades to respond to fans. That was season 2, episode 18.
Mm-hmm.
And then in, I guess, 2013, Paul McCartney basically got back to a fan like 50 years later. But again,
Different people. I mean,
yeah. How about this one? In 1998, Springfield kids were shocked about Yard Work Simulator.
I mean, that's funny. But
Season 9, episode 12, Bart Carney. So in 1998, these kids were doing basically VR.
yeah.
And they were cutting grass, mowing lawns, doing stuff like that. And then Farmville comes out. But I don't really look at it as in terms of Farmville. I look at it as just like VR, right?
Yeah.
VR has all these things. Like you can go on a roller coaster, or you can go
Yeah,
to
you
a
can go to
haunted
the
house.
mall. Yeah.
You can do like anything, right? You can go walk in nature.
Yep.
Instead of actually doing it, like they kind of parodied it in the show in 1998, they like thought it was a game, so it's fun
Sure.
for them to actually do it with the VR instead of actually. So this one has more of a thing where they kind of predict the future to me than any other one. Also, this one was kind of cool too with technology. In 1995, when season 6, episode 19, Lisa's Wedding, where basically a librarian catches on fire.
Yeah.
And now in 2011, there is actually robotic technology for librarians. But obviously that's with any kind of technology. Because you look at, like you mentioned Back to the Future before, where they predicted a lot of things. We don't have flying cars by now,
No. But you do have drapes that can turn into different scenes for your house. Microwavable pizza, stuff
And
like that.
I also look at a lot of this stuff too with The Simpsons is, technology's going a certain way, and you can kind of, like this one is a good example of it. In 1992, season 3, episode 24, Brother, Can You Spare Me 2 Dimes? I guess Herb, Homer's, lost brother that he basically bankrupted, comes back and now invents this machine or this device that translates baby
Babies.
noises. You can find out what
That's
they're
pretty
actually
cool.
saying.
I would like to create one for their dog.
Maybe they have one.
That would be
Because in
awesome.
2013, they actually have an incredible cry translator. Lets you know the baby when it's upset, what it needs to be changed, things like that. So that was an interesting article. But then also, all right, it's just like anybody. If you have, like you go on Shark Tank, right?
Yeah.
And you have an idea, like I'm always around babies. So what's the thing? Like, oh, I can never communicate with my baby. This is kind of,
Yeah, that's kind of it.
I mean, and the writers, maybe that's what they were thinking about during the writing. I don't know. Here's another thing. This was cool. In 1995, in a future dorm room, the Rolling Stones tour posters up. And you can see it says Steel Wheelchair Tour 2010.
Mm-hmm.
And 2012, the Rolling Stones did go on tour. And that was from 1995. That season, episode 6, episode 19. So that was cool. This one was stupid. I don't even buy this one. Homer gets a Guitar Hero jacket.
Yeah,
and-
but that doesn't. It
yeah.
just says Guitar Hero because he plays guitar.
Right. This one I didn't buy either too, with the whole Land of Chocolate. This was cool, but then again, it just looks like a button. So from 1996.
Yeah, it just
season
looks like an
8
intercom with a button.
Yeah, so it looks like your typical intercom that you would see anywhere, but it's from
first
season 8,
generation
episode
iPod.
5, Bart After Dark, where they basically predict what the iPad or iPod would look like.
Mm.
Yeah, I felt the same way about. Here's a cool one. All right, what do you think about this one?
Anyone could have predicted this.
What is it?
The trained dragon. I mean, the tiger.
What? The
What-
dragon.
Yeah, when Siegfried and Roy's dragon basically mauled them in Vegas.
Dragon?
Yeah.
Tiger?
Yeah, look at him. He's blowing fire.
It's a tiger.
That's what I said.
You said dragon.
Well, first I said dragon, then I said tiger.
All right, so yeah, in 1993, this episode 10, season 5, where they basically, he actually mauled them both. The tiger just snaps on him. And then I guess it really happened.
Yeah, you
In
could have predicted that. Come on.
2003.
Any caged animal is going to, one point,
so
snap.
10 years later. So that was interesting. This one was dumb, too, where I thought the cooking grease. Anybody, that's interesting. But here's another technology one. In 1995.
Video phones.
Yeah, season 6, episode 19, Lisa's Wedding. Lisa's Wedding keeps coming up in these predictions.
Yeah.
So maybe they were like, let's predict a future here. So that gives you some indication about just the Simpsons and talking about this. So we have basically FaceTime, Skype, whatever you want to call it, where Lisa's talking to her mom through the computer, through the phone, through also the watch. That was interesting. That was a cool one that buys. That's stupid. That's just, anybody could have done that. So that was just from BuzzFeed, that list. That was 21 times. And getting back to, this was from CNN.com, where they showed you in an episode the Simpsons doing exactly what Lady Gaga did at the Super Bowl. But a lot of people were saying that Lady Gaga worked on the show, so she might have got an inspiration for it.
Yeah, why not?
So that was a cool one. They have a whole thing there too. Smartwatches keep coming up. The whole Siegfried keeps coming up. What else do we have? The voting machines always came up. The grease one came up a lot. I mean, just type this into YouTube, anybody, if you're watching or
Yeah, the
listening to the
three-eyed
show.
fish.
Yeah, that was a big one too, where they had the episode where the fish had 3 eyes and they found one in Japan. I mean, I guess that's what radiation, but what if they put 5, So there's a lot of them, and there's a lot of people that make these videos. Here, let's play this one. This is the actual prediction of the President Trump. It wasn't actually the one, again, where I said, because if you actually do your research, the one that you see him at the podium or walking down and Homer's behind him on the escalator waving, even though those two things happen in real life, they didn't really happen in the show the way they, it already kind of happened. But this one, let's see if it plays without the ad. So this is the Simpsons.
16 years ago, the Simpsons.
All right, we won't really play like this guy's
Play
voice.
it.
We've inherited quite a budget crunch from President Trump.
The episode.
Oh, that was it. Yeah, Inside Edition did this. So they talked about it. So Inside Edition came up with this one.
Yeah,
And
they
then-
also said Disney would take over Fox.
Yeah, that was a big one too, right?
Mhm.
So I don't know. Here's another one from Time. I was surprised when I started doing this how many news outlets picked this up, like CNN, Time, Inside Edition. I thought it was just one of these YouTube ones.
Mm-hmm.
So, here's a one from the movie. So in 2007, there was Simpsons movie, where in 2013 we all kind of learned the NSA was spying on us. But if you look back in history, the NSA has been kind of doing this for a long time, even just the government with the CIA. So that was an interesting episode itself, where they're riding on the train and then Marge says, oh, Lisa, stop being paranoid. They're not, the government's not spying on us. And then they get this message and then you see this room. So it was cool. So that was another prediction, NSA spying scandal. Oh, the God particle. That was another thing. In 1998, The Simpsons, season 10, episode 2, where basically Homer comes up with this equation and kind of predicts what like the God particle is now. And that's a whole nother thing to really get into, so we won't. But so there's a lot of them. Obviously, Lisa's Wedding keeps coming up from 1995 about the smartwatches. Oh, the Ebola outbreak.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was well known back then. So here's another cool one. A year, but again, this is where it gets tricky, and like this is where the writers come in and the creativity of the show. In 2014, season 25, episode 16, where the Simpsons actually predicted the FIFA scandal, the corruption scandal that came out a year later.
Everyone's been talking about that for years.
No,
how
I know.
corrupt that.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, that's
FIFA.
only like a year difference.
Sure.
So when you look at that, you kind of have to say, all right,
Yeah, the Grease, that's funny.
Yeah, but that's 3 years apart. So, they're just they're reading the times.
Yeah, I
and,
know.
I mean, I think that's what any good comedian or writer does. They look at what's going on and says, all right, I know, the Nobel Peace Prize, that was 6 years difference. If you look in that one's kind of, all right, could we have predicted that? So there's plenty of them.
Trump?
Yeah, the prediction of the Trump thing keeps coming up. So that was a big one. So, like you said, looking back at The Simpsons and looking back at, just the history of The Simpsons, they've been on since right here, 1989, over 600 episodes, which, to be honest, I thought it was going to be a lot more when I was like researching it, but
Why?
I don't know, because I feel like they've been on my whole entire lifetime.
Well, let's do the math here. How many episodes?
Well, you could just break it down. They have the whole seasons here.
So it's been 27 years, right?
Yeah, 27 years. Season 1, 2.
23 episodes a year.
Yeah, which is typical for any kind of show. So, I mean, you just kind of, you had that whole year to kind of get episodes together, writing it and stuff.
Yeah, but is it still as big as it was?
I mean, do you watch it?
No.
When's the last time you watched the Simpsons episode?
Couldn't tell you.
Why not?
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know what else to talk about this.
Well,
I thought it would be a fun topic.
What do you think, though? Do you think they actually can predict it?
No.
Or is it just coincidental that all these
like
stuff?
you said, getting back to it, right? Getting back to the point where there's over 629 episodes now, and it's still on, still goes.
Yep.
And every report that we pulled up, right? 14 times, 12, 21 times. So you're saying just one season out of 29, they're predicting stuff.
Sure.
If Matt Groening or any of the writers could really predict the future, wouldn't they throw in a little bit more tidbits each season?
Like what, though?
I don't know. Give us like hints. Like when you look at Homer's hair, you could see like the initials of Matt Groening, the hair and then the ear where they said like little Easter eggs happen. So I kind of look at that and say that's kind of cool, but I don't know. Yeah.
I think it's just all coincidental. I really do.
Yeah.
And like if you're trying to like be creative and come up with stuff, obviously you're going to try to think outside the box, and then people are going to maybe take inspiration on that with building technology.
True.
Like, yeah, we should have phones that you could see people.
Well, even getting back to like Back to the Future, like what did they predict right? What didn't they like? What didn't they predict? I mean, if you look at it, even that some of that's pretty eerie. When you see like Biff, Trump Tower, Biff Tower, kind of looks very similar. They were a year off on,
The Cubs, yeah.
the Cubs. I would say that's more compelling than The Simpsons. Because when I first started hearing The Simpsons and I watched a couple just YouTube clips,
yeah,
you kind of get hooked into the narrative and you say, oh shit, man, this could be like plausible. Then you start looking into it
yeah.
and finding out more about it. And then you just say, all right, maybe it's not.
Yeah, there's a bunch of, especially in Back to the Future, I think that's more maybe plausible because that happened so long ago. What was the first movie? 1985?
Yeah.
And then 1988 or 1989 was the second one that they predicted all that stuff.
Yeah, so you look at it, yeah, because everything was supposed to happen in 2000, basically 30 years later. So 1985,
Yeah.
obviously when they're filming the movie, it's always a year before, but they're saying, 1985 when it comes out, and then they're predicting 30 years down the line, in the next one. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you look at it that way.
They made a hoverboard, but, that was like because of the movie. So they didn't predict that. Drying clothes, I guess you could say like Nike Dry Fit there. What else? Microwavable pizza, they have that. Like the shades on the windows, they have that. They also had like the video teleconference thing. Remember that?
Yeah, they did. So I don't know, man. Like it's interesting to talk about. And I think it was a cool theory. And in the beginning, like I said, I was more.
Well, like, all right, if you could predict the future, how do you think it would, or how do you think you could, Or do you think like time travel is possible?
I mean, that's a whole nother subject.
I know that, but I'm just
And
saying.
a lot of people say, ooh, Matt, the creator, Matt Groening, could see in the future, and he was sprinkling in some of these
Maybe.
to the writing team.
I mean, maybe it's possible.
I mean, if you look at it, I don't know. Time travel in itself, like if we go down that rabbit hole one time, maybe that should be a cool episode because there's a lot of information, from Einstein's theory. Also, people talk about like the God particle. You could talk about that as well. And there's a lot of videos. I would say a lot more than the Simpsons, predicting the future. There's a lot more videos of time travel where they, you saw the picture, even like the Gettysburg Address, where this guy claimed he was sent back as a boy. And there's photographs, and he said he was this kid, and you could see him in the foreground of that photograph. What else is there?
If you could time travel, would you?
Yeah, man.
Where would you go? Front, forward, or backward?
I don't know. If I would definitely want to go backwards just to see some events that obviously I studied or
would
read
you get
about.
in the boat of George Washington?
The boat?
Yeah, when he's crossing the Delaware.
I mean, that'd be cool, but wouldn't they be like, yo, who is this dude?
Would you just be standing there with the flag?
It wasn't like that.
No, it could be like that.
No, it wasn't like that.
But you could make it.
Yeah, they would be like, what are you doing? Get down.
I'll just be like, no, it's cool.
We have to be secretive, about this, and we're crossing the Delaware. Yeah, I would want to go back and see certain events. I think it would be cool to just,
What events would you want to see?
JFK would be a big one.
The assassination?
Yeah.
Where would you stand?
I would probably get by the grassy knoll, like as close as I could.
What if they shot you?
I'd be looking towards there. Like I obviously I've seen the video tons of times, so I would see, what happens. I would want to go see Roswell. Like, did that really happen?
Okay. What else?
I would like to see, Philadelphia signing a declaration, like that time period. I think it would be kind of cool.
Okay.
I would like to go see some battles. Like, just picture going back in the day, because we're not too far from the Monmouth battlefield, just like sitting on a hill.
The lawn chair.
Yeah, just sitting in the side and just watching the battle unfold. Like, just watching these men, like we read about in history. Some other events, I don't know, go back and like see New York before it was built up, and seeing how like
trees.
Yeah, just majestic. Because in old books they talk about like the fruit, the trees, just like the smell. It's like so. I don't know. They talk about it in such amazement that they'd never seen anything like this before. So that would be kind of cool. Just see like the growth. Because I think, what was it? The Gangs in New York.
Yeah.
At the end, where they show you like where he was standing there by like the graveyard, the cemetery, and then like the kind of growth of Brooklyn and New York in the fort, the background.
Yeah.
So I thought that was cool. Stuff like that. I think just, the stuff that we always constantly learn about, constantly hear, and I guess trying to go back and just some events, like the Patterson, like Gimlin film that we talked about. We know what day it happened. Just kind of follow them.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be cool. Because I don't know how like technology.
Would you jump out?
No, I would just follow it, and then if I could bring like my phone or my camera and film it, and be like, oh, these sons of bitches put a costume on. Or like, holy shit, it's actually real.
Or just shoot it.
Yeah. And then just take the film and be like, I got history. I don't know. Like, would you go back?
Would you use it for like, personal gain, like personal wealth?
Get some money and stuff?
Yep.
Yeah.
Like Biff?
Yeah, give
not like a lot, but
give the family some information, be like, all right, take this, here's a stock tip, or
like invest in this,
yeah, or
invest in
here.
this.
This is not created for another 10 years. Find a way to create it now.
Yeah, but would they actually believe you?
Maybe they won't. I don't know.
Like if somebody came to you,
well, that's like
at your house and was like, "All right, this is not created yet, but you can."
I would think they're off their rocker.
You could recreate this.
All right, what do they look like? Like a normal dude, or they like look disheveled?
Well, see, like you would go back, in the future or back to the past, obviously, and you look like you dress now. And that's weird to people.
I would try to change it. I would try to change, my appearance, because I don't want to stand out that much. But, you go back and say, yeah, I don't know. It's interesting to think about.
It is.
All right. picture this scenario, because I did talk about this with a couple of friends.
Mm-hmm.
You can go back in time,
Okay.
right? You go back to your earlier years. Say right now, all of a sudden we're transported back to, if you want to go high school, middle school,
Okay.
and you have to kind of convince yourself something.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think, like looking at it now, say if your older self came to you and said something, would you believe it? Like if they
Do
came,
I know it was me?
I mean, you're looking at it and this person says, I'm you in the future.
Okay.
And they say, like, all right, you do this. Like, you stop doing this. You have to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's your mindset?
I mean, if I knew it was me, I would be like, yeah, all right, let's do it.
All right, so here's another scenario. Your mind, your consciousness is transported back now into your body.
Mm-hmm.
All right, say now all of a sudden, we'll go back, 20 years?
Okay.
All right?
All right.
So we're going to go back
I'm
20
12
years.
years old.
You're 12 years old. What was it, 1998?
Mm-hmm.
97, 98, right?
Okay.
So we go back. Your consciousness now, it's transformed into your body. So there's not like a double. It's not like you went back, but your consciousness went back into your brain.
Okay.
And you wake up one morning. It's time to go to school.
Mm-hmm.
Would you try to convince me or mom and dad or anybody else, like, holy shit, I came from the future? How would you like approach that?
No, because I think about that a lot.
All right. How would you approach that though? Like, all right. So
I don't know how to say it.
So say if I had my consciousness, right, and you were in the room, and I woke up before school, and
So I know what's going to happen
no,
already.
you don't now, because you don't know how to explain it. But I'm trying to say, like, now my mind goes back to me, and I wake up, and I came into your room. I was like, dude, whatever like may happen, you have to like trust me, and my mind somehow
Mm-hmm.
came back into me.
Sure.
In 1997, and I'm trying to, like, I have all this knowledge.
Okay.
And I'm like,
About what, though?
everything. So from this point on, everything that I learn, everything that I know about the future, about technology, about just about myself, about you, about the family.
Would you go to school then? I wouldn't.
Yeah, but you would have to like figure out. See, that's like the figure out of this whole thing. Do I live my life now? Like, do I talk to my like girlfriend and try to explain to her? Do I talk to you?
Well, no, because you're not going to be dating them anyway, so it doesn't matter.
No, but all right, but looking back on it.
I know. I'm just saying.
No, but I'm saying I'm in that time period, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm in 1997. So
You're
whatever,
stuck there forever.
So whatever I was doing, yeah, but I'm living now from 1997 now
Yeah,
in
I
that
know.
timeline.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
So it's not like I'm living it forever. I'm still growing. I'm still learning.
Sure.
You know, like the things that I'm looking. I may have a different perspective on it,
I know.
but because I thought about this many times too, like trying to, who do I explain it to? How do I explain it to them?
I don't think you do.
So you would just keep this secret.
No, I wouldn't keep it a secret, but like I would be like, all right, I'm going to prove to you that I know things.
All right, but then who do you tell that to?
A select few of people.
All right, who would be that select few?
I mean, I would tell you, I'm sure you wouldn't believe me.
Would you try, like one day we're all at dinner, you know, we're sitting around the dinner table
No,
back in the day,
no.
and you would be like, all right, Mom, Dad, Matt, I have something to tell you.
All right, but like, what could I show you?
Would you try to like see something like this with the Simpsons? Would you try to just like sprinkle it in?
No.
You would just full out and say, hey,
Hell yeah.
I could predict that these people are going to win the World Series, or this team, you know,
Yep.
whatever.
Yep.
Or this is going to be the president.
Yeah.
This is going to happen on this day.
Yeah.
All right, so if I came back to you, and how many times would I have to predict something for you to believe? Because I'm sure it won't be just one. Because
No,
then
it would be like a couple things.
Yeah, we could sit here and say, just like we did now, where it's like, all right, well, he got lucky. You know,
Mhm.
it's a little kid. He's been watching TV or something. Yeah, I think a lot of things would change for sure, just from myself and looking
I would
back
save
on
up like all the money I made caddying, and I would, all
it.
right,
What? Do what with it?
I would go place like a huge bet, like in the beginning of either the baseball season or football season.
Yeah, like looking back on it now, looking at the hockey season, you should have betted on the Knights.
Like imagine that if you knew.
Vegas Knights, how well they're doing now.
I'm like, all right, I'm putting like $1,000 on this, or like even in the stock market.
Yeah, but how much do you really know about the stock market and everything?
Not a whole lot, but like companies, like I'm saying,
Right.
like Walmart, Apple,
Right.
stuff like that,
Yeah.
like huge things.
It'd be amazing. So how many times have you actually thought about like this scenario?
I've thought about it a bunch.
Really?
Yeah,
Like at night, you're just sitting there.
yeah, because here's, I don't know,
I mean, I go down these rabbit holes too.
an example, like.
After I see a movie or like we talked about like time travel, when I start watching the YouTube videos and I go down that rabbit hole during the night and I'm just like, shit. And then I sit in bed and I wonder.
Like, all right, people have certain fears or certain things that drive them or whatever, right? You ever think about like, okay, this life is this life. However, is there like parallel lives? Or when you died, you come back, let's say,
Yeah, we talked about it.
I know that, but like I'm saying, all right, do you think you come back as yourself, like, in 1982? Like it starts all over again. So like, but you don't know what's going to happen, obviously.
Yeah, see, that's a tricky thing. Like if you don't know or like you're just living
But like
your
you
life.
kind of have like an idea of like, all right, I've lived before.
Right.
Like, I'm put here again. Would you live differently?
But see, here's the question. Like, do you know or do you not know?
You kind of know, but you really don't. Like you just have a feeling.
Yeah, see, like now, like, all right, think of like deja vu or, you have this feeling like, oh, I've been here before or
That happens a lot to
I
me.
kind of notice.
Yeah.
See, but then why can't, all right, so does the future not have this technology yet where they kind of fully, almost like it's like VR, right? You see VR, how it's like kind of progressing.
Sure.
Or just like technology and how it's progressing. Like there's things that we can do
Yeah.
and it looks good, but it doesn't look like it really should yet. Where it's not like, all right, we're looking here on the the screen. Look at how crystal clear this picture looks that I took, like
Sure.
2 years ago. And you could see up close on the pumpkins and the people in the fields and all that stuff. Now, picture 5 years from now, 10 years from now, this image is basically going to be in our eyes.
Yeah, I get that.
And we could actually see that now. Do we not have that technology now to transfer like our full consciousness back to, or like to another body? Like, is it almost something now it's in the beginning stages. So now you kind of remember stuff and there's like these glimpses, these little breadcrumbs like floating around, do you think it's something like that?
I don't know.
Or do you think like, all right, we die, it's like kind of broken down and like to get all this back together in a new body, obviously a lot's going to be missing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a question, man. Because trust me, I think about this stuff too.
Because that's the same thing with like dreams. Like, are you really like dreaming, or are you like in a parallel universe that you see things? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you ever think about that?
I have. I mean, I thought about a lot of these weird theories,
Like last night I had a dream, like, that I was in my house and like, I think it was being robbed or something like that. It was robbed and I came home, but you can't really do anything. Like, it's weird.
Yeah, I remember when I was young having dreams where like there was a bully chasing me or somebody like bad was chasing me and I can't run. But I know in real life I could run.
Sure.
And it felt like there was bricks in my shoes. And every time I looked back, he was like right on my tail. I remember that like dream vividly,
Or like, I remember I could fly in my dream.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I want to talk to a dream expert and I would like to get a dream expert on. And I actually contacted a couple. They never got back to me, which is kind of a bummer. But I want to talk about, because, it's like, all right, if you're flying or if you can't run in a dream, like I stated, it means, you're having some trouble or something this. Like they always find, like, I guess, a logical explanation.
I guess.
But then again, a lot of people, yes, believe, we could tap into this other kind of realm, where that, I don't know, like I have no clue how the brain works.
They talked
we
about
don't
that
know.
on like the Nikola Tesla show. Have you been watching that?
No.
You know, he said like he tried to stay in that like dream consciousness, like right when you wake up, you know, you're still like kind of dreaming, kind of
Yeah.
not. He said he tried to stay in that state as long as possible because that's when like his best ideas came from.
It's possible.
He's an interesting guy.
He is.
If you ever looked into him.
So I just pulled up just this. People who, you know, have been reincarnated. And there's a lot of photos where you could look at this stuff and they look eerily similar. You know?
Jesus.
Just looking at that. It's kind of cool.
Ellen DeGeneres.
Brad Pitt, Eddie Murphy, Bruce
Dude, that
Willis,
looks identical.
the Orlando Bloom.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're showing actually on our YouTube channel. We're just pulling up just people who've been reincarnated.
Imagine that comparison with no beard, JFK and Abraham Lincoln.
It's interesting.
Imagine like, imagine that's true, and he got killed as a president twice.
Yeah, but there's a lot of differences to this.
No, I know.
I mean, you can see the jaw lines different.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a picture that, you know, we pulled up in Google Images and stuff. Well, there's a lot of them. Look at that Conan O'Brien one. That one looks pretty crazy.
That's weird.
Jack Black, Paul Revere.
That's just the face. I think that's bullshit.
Yeah. Look at this Eminem one.
Not
Looks
really.
like a World War One guy.
The Bruce Willis one looks pretty good.
Yeah, that one.
Jimmy Fallon looks really similar.
Yeah. What about the Jay-Z one? That looks pretty similar.
Yeah, that does.
So I don't know. That one, nah, I would cross that one off. So there's a lot of them. Yeah, Eddie Murphy keeps coming up. Oh, the Nick Cage one, that one was going around for a while.
That's pretty. Yeah.
So if people want to, you know, just see what we're looking at.
Wait, go down.
Just go into
Facebook,
Google.
Mark Zuckerberg. Go down one more.
Where? How
Right there
far?
on the left.
Here?
Huh.
Yes, but no.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's tons of them. So obviously the theories are out there. I mean, we just look at just people believing in the afterlife. Just like we could just type in afterlife and see how much, you know, search stuff comes up. So,
Simpsons led us down a rabbit hole.
well, The Simpsons, it does get you thinking. It did make me think more. So when you type in like afterlife, you know,
Life after death. It's really nice and pleasant.
10 million hits come up just for the afterlife. So there's a lot out there. So
Wait, go to Afterlife Proof.
afterlife proof.
Yeah, it's the third one down.
So
Scientific evidence. Leading experts weigh in.
yeah, the Huffington Post has something about it. There's tons of books written about it. Looks like there's 600,000 afterlife proof that come up for your search engines just through here. So a lot of people have written books about it. You could see here just from the 20 that are listed.
Yeah.
People believe in this stuff, man, and it's not just something that we believe in. I mean, you look back onto in Egypt about the pyramids. People believed, you know, that was kind of they're setting up their kings and their queens for the afterlife.
Well, there's a lot of theories on the pyramids.
And that's a whole nother topic we talk about.
That there were power plants.
I heard that one too. You got that from Ancient Aliens, didn't you?
Yep.
You son of a bitch.
But the way, like, you can't construct something like that from the ground and make it look like that from the top. And not, like, the way it was built, like, it's just
Look at you.
too perfect.
You come in here all quiet. Now your mind is blown.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, The Simpsons did open that rabbit hole a little bit.
Little DB Cooper.
Yeah, but in the end, like,
I think Simpsons bullshit.
yeah, looking at it, I just think there's not
It's just coincidental.
enough evidence,
Mhm.
and there's just not enough information, you know, that
Yeah.
like kind of.
Like, if you had the names of some products, like that phone.
Well, the Apple product, it
Yeah.
had an apple with a worm coming out,
Okay.
but again, Apple was still around,
Yeah.
right?
Apple was around, yeah.
So you could look at it that way, and they're just good at, you know, I wouldn't say predicting the future, but the writers are good at looking at the future.
What would probably
and-
come up
and
in
yeah.
technology.
well, not just technology, just like anything. Like you said, like on our daily lives, right? We have a podcast show. So think about stuff that could impact us in here, you know, in the future, or that could be better. So things like that, I think, are pretty compelling.
Stem cells.
When you look at it. So, yeah, stem cells, just anything, man, that you can dive into.
Big into stem cells now.
Yeah, now you are. See, once you go down any rabbit
Because I
hole,
want to
man,
get it for my shoulder.
yeah, Greg's all messed up. Too much working out. Not enough podcasting time.
Not enough working out. Too
No.
much podcasting.
No,
time.
you don't even do anything.
I know.
It's sad. So I guess that really ends our topic today, just for the Simpsons predicting the future. We both think it's a thumbs down
Yeah.
for this case file for bogus.
What was the very first episode of The Simpsons about?
I don't. We could pull it up. You
Pull
want
that
me to
up because I want to see like the earliest episode I remember is when Homer meets his brother and like he develops his own like car.
Yeah, that's where he went broke.
Yeah. But like what? I don't even know what season that was.
I mean, we could look it up. So here's. Oh. All right. So half-hour season debut on December 17th, 1989. The Simpsons roasting on an open fire. That's an episode. I guess it was a Christmas special. The next episode was Bart the Genius.
Huh.
So there you go, man. That's what they look like.
No. Is that what they really look like?
I guess that was the first rendering of the show.
Play that little clip.
Early clip.
Yeah.
This is
Your Royal Highness.
Just a
yeah, this stupid ads that pop up. Sorry, I don't want to get kicked off either. Before they were the Simpsons. Yeah, somebody made this, so I don't know how accurate it is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not.
No, that's what they looked like in the beginning. Obviously, you don't remember. It's from 1987. You were a year old. Yeah, so I mean, they got better. Obviously, the graphics got better.
Yeah.
I mean, we could look at it. I don't remember exactly what episode that was that you're talking about. It probably wasn't in season 1.
No.
I think that was. Let's see. Let me see if I can find it. If you had to guess, what episode do you think that is?
What season?
Yeah.
Probably 2 or 3.
What is it? Homer.
And Herb. Homer designs future car. I don't know.
Herbert Powell. Let's see. Hold on. And Herb design their car.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, let me just type in because I don't know what I would do. Homer designs his car.
Yeah.
Was this your favorite episode?
No, that was just the earliest episode I remember.
Yeah, but we also taped a lot.
We did. I remember watching it on VHS.
Yeah. So.
Be Kind Rewind.
So what?
Be Kind Rewind. Nothing. I'll find it on my phone.
No. I got some stuff. Yeah, take it easy, bro. I guess the car built for Homer.
Okay.
Also, I mean, I guess we could look that one up. Search for that in the Google. Yeah, see all this? I hate when there's
1987.
Yeah, but was it from 1987? See, why can't they just give you like the exact like thing? Because this is not exactly what you wanted. This is when sometimes Google screws with you. The car built for Homer. Yeah, it's just not giving you the exact episode. Whatever. I don't really care as much as you do.
15th episode of the second season.
All right, so there you go. 1988. You got your answer. So, we believe it's bogus.
Yep.
It's more coincidental than anything else.
What was your favorite episode?
But you do believe in time travel.
Yes.
I always enjoyed the Halloween ones, obviously.
Spider Legs?
Obviously.
Spider Pig?
Spider Pig. I mean, there's been so many. I thought the car one I do remember. That one was cool, where Homer creates his own car.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of cool to see.
Mr. Plow?
Mr. Plow was also a great one. I mean, there is some iconic episodes in there. So there is plenty to kind of look at. I don't know. It's a good show. It's been on for this long. Obviously, people enjoy it. People love it.
Yeah.
I wish they would sprinkle more predictions in there.
That ain't gonna happen.
But anyway, man, let's wrap this up. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in to today's episode.
Next week,
Whoa. What
Bigfoot.
about- We already did Bigfoot, bro.
Oh, shit.
Case file 18 coming up next week.
DB
But-
Cooper.
DB Cooper, man.
That's an interesting case.
I've actually been going down this rabbit hole already after like reading The Simpsons and you know kind of making my conclusion early on.
Okay.
This was a no-brainer for me. So I started listening to podcasts
Yeah, about DB Cooper.
DB Cooper. Been looking. Decoded, I forgot, did an episode on it. So
They did.
I actually downloaded the podcast for that, or the audiobook.
So did Expedition Unknown.
Expedition Unknown did a bunch of that. So that's our case file for next
Are you
week.
gonna go to the town and dress like DB Cooper?
Yeah, there's a town out in the
Washington?
Pacific Northwest. Yeah.
Wa-
So
yeah, Washington.
who's more famous out there, Bigfoot or DB Cooper?
Probably DB Cooper.
It's cool, man. It's cool to look at. It's a cool show. So we got that coming up next week. That one might be long because I'm really fascinated by that case. And
what makes you so fascinated by it?
well, got away with it.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Well,
a lot of theories out there.
They don't know if he actually did, though.
How do you not know?
I mean, he could have died.
We don't know.
Well, exactly.
So there's also people like claiming, like, how many claims there was out there that like, oh, my father or my brother's friend was DB Cooper.
Yeah,
you know, like
yeah.
there's so many people that come forward. There's so many like deathbed confessions that said like, oh, I'm DB Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at that too, so it's on there. I don't know, just listening to some podcasts and then actually listening to the facts,
Sure.
it really kind of hooked me in. So I'm excited to talk about next week's, more so than this week.
Yeah.
But thanks everybody for tuning into the podcast. Again, leave a review on iTunes. And if you have a story for us, or if you have a topic you want us to discuss, feel free to email us, send us a message on our phone number. We have a phone number, P.O. Box, everything through our social media. It's all there, and it could all be found at nightmare365.com. Also, check out our Patreon page where you can help support the show, because there is a lot of tech stuff that goes into this. So every little bit helps, right, Jay? Every little helps. So thanks for tuning in. And yes, next week, case file 18, DB Cooper, or as he boarded the plane as Dan Cooper. So we'll
Yeah,
be
the
talking
B
about that.
came in later.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that too on next week's episode. Until we speak again, everybody, stay spooky.
Ah.